All right, welcome, Josh, to the set of One Bills Live once again. We're going to do this annual training camp thing. Good to have you.
Thanks.
2 days in the books. How is, because we get this question from fans a lot, how is the rapport coming, and I know it's early, with some of your new targets like Sherfield and Hardy?
Yeah, I think just, again, getting as many targets as possible with these guys and understanding their body language. I think as a quarterback that's a huge piece to having a good relationship with your receiver. You know, as long as you're being open and honest with what you like, and they can be honest with what they're seeing, what they like, where they want the football. To have a cohesive relationship like this, I feel like it helps you on the football field.
So you got Diggs, you got Gabe, and Khalil. Although you only had 1 year with Khalil, he didn't play all that much until the end of the year last year. So you got a ton of guys who, when the lights are on, you've never thrown to before in a game, like Sherfield, Hardy, Kincaid now, James Cook, a little bit, kind of like Shakir, two new guys. There's a lot of new guys that you're going to have to depend on during the regular season. Give me
I think Bean, happy birthday, Bean, by the way. Brandon Bean's birthday. Make sure you let him know. He doesn't want anybody to know, so the more tweets we can get about happy birthday, Bean, the happier he's going to be.
Happy birthday, Bean.
So, he did a good job in bringing in the guys that he did, guys that are smart, that work hard, that are selfless, guys that care about winning games. And, you can say that about James and Khalil, who have been here for a year, and then you can say that about the three guys that we got on offense this year, the guys that we got up front this year too. So guys that just want to work hard, and that's what we're doing. Like, training camp is not to be perfect right away, right? We're out here, we're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. I'm fine with it happening now. I would prefer it happen now than it happened during the season, so we can see it, we can correct it, and have these conversations. You know, by the time in the season, if you're having these conversations, it's too late.
Right.
So to go out there, don't be afraid of messing up. Just run full speed, and we'll correct it after practice.
What is evident, though, is Coach Dorsey, Coach McDermott, who's ever making the decisions on reps and the play scripts, are getting Dalton on the field with you an awful lot. They're getting him a ton of reps, and this is not something that is terribly common with coach and rookies. They like to bring rookies along steadily, more methodically. They're throwing Dalton in the deep end of the pool here and saying, let's see if you can swim. So far, so good, at least from our vantage point. I know you called him very smart yesterday. What is it about his game that gives off that high football IQ to you?
Well, I think his instincts are very high, especially for a rookie tight end. Understanding, in zone coverage, which way to turn, whether it's inside or outside. If he's coming down friendly, his catch radius is pretty big. Like, he's got some grippers on him, and he can move those around and snag the ball out of the air. He's a very good hands catcher, and with the complement of him and Dawson, putting them both those guys on the field. Yeah. Now it's like, all right, do we go base personnel, or do we stay sub? If we stay sub, then we got two bigger guys on sometimes smaller guys. If they go, and then that allows us to run the ball more effectively. If they go sub, if they go base, now it's two littler guys that they're going to run away from, and so it's going to be fun to continue to play with those two guys, and I think they complement each other in such a good way. Dawson being able to utilize what he's good at, his speed, his aggressiveness, his body size, and then Dalton kind of some of the underneath stuff where he can kind of be that friendly outlet for a quarterback.
So you've been really open every year you've been in the league about, I got to work on this, I got to work on that, and this year, last year, you had a ton of drops, not you, but a ton of drops on the offense, and you guys turned it over, like number 2 in the league in both of those. So if you cut those in half, that gives your offense a bigger margin of error. So, like, for you, when you're a golfer, how do you guys go into a play and take, like, the triple bogey off the scorecard right? You know what I mean? How do you make sure we don't we may not get a hole in one, but at least we don't take it triple?
That's a good comparison. Maybe it's taking a 4-iron off the tee, you know, and don't be swinging for the fences. And sometimes distance doesn't matter, and I have to understand that, right? Like, it's okay. Like, today, obviously, it was a little bit wet, and there was a couple tips here and there. Again, we're going to make mistakes, a bad decision here or there. But, I throw a 2-yard slant route to Stephon Diggs, and he's out the gate. And so there's these opportunities where, letting those guys with the ball in their hands do what they're made to do and what they're really good at. So understanding when to, like I said, take that 4-iron out instead of taking the big stick out.
Right.
There are a lot of fans that are hoping some of these big hosses you got lining up in the backfield now might be able to take a few licks off your body. between now and Week 18 in the regular season. I know you don't necessarily have a say in that, aside from checking to a run if you want. And I know you don't mind putting that on yourself when necessary to help the team win. But when you have a Damian Harris and a Latavius Murray, I got to believe that at least puts a grin on your face to a certain extent when you're in a short yardage situation. It might not always have to be you.
Yeah, and you mentioned those two guys, and that's, I think, one of the reasons we brought those guys in was their ability to run low, and especially Damon. He's kind of a little bowling ball down there. Latavius, he looks like me. He's just.
I can't believe how tall he is.
He's a big sucker now, and he's been playing this game for a long time at a really high level, and there's a reason why he's still playing. So I'm excited to see those guys with pads on. Obviously, sometimes the 7-on-7 stuff, it doesn't really speak justice, and guys are going up and tagging off, and when you put the pads on and those guys got their pads and they're low to the ground, it's not fun to tackle those guys. I know that for sure.
So you guys come in, and I know this too. You guys have conversations with Steph and Gabe and all these guys, Murray, all the new guys, everybody. You're in the locker room, and you're getting this vibe about what you guys think about each other and about the team and about what you're going to do. What is the slogan that comes out? It's coming out of your locker room about what your team's going to be like this year. What's your kind of mantra of coming together and forming this new family this year?
Yeah, I think as team leaders we've talked about it, and we came up with a couple things, but one of them was want to be here, want to win, and want to work. Right. So and that's the key piece is want. Mm-hmm. So that's what every guy's thinking right now. Like, again, we're to the point again. Like, playoffs are what they are, and we that's our number one goal is to get to the playoffs and give yourself a chance to the Super Bowl. But
right.
At the end of the year, there's only one happy team. There's only one team that hoists the Lombardi Trophy, and we're going to work our tails off to make sure that's us. And again, there's a lot of different variables, and there's so many different things that happen.
Yeah.
But again, we're working for a Lombardi Trophy, and we've been in the playoffs the last 4 years, whatever it is, and it hasn't come out our way. So what are we doing? How can we talk about turning everything that we do into winning that Super Bowl? And to have these conversations, like I said, to have the leaders that we have on this team. Obviously, Vaughn's getting back healthy, but guys like Poe and having Micah back, having Trey White out there and going through a full training camp on defense, and then the offensive side of the ball, having Mitch back and letting him go to work. And I love Mitch. He's been my center here for the last few years, and smart guy. He makes our offense go. And if we can get everybody on the same page with our offense, and like you said, talking about the turnovers, there was a stat that showed that we were, I think, 1 or 2 in the league of points, drives ending in points. And if we can limit those turnovers, if I can, be a single-digit interception guy, I know tips are going to happen, and there's going to be a bad decision. But if I can limit those and allow us to continue to drive the football and put points on the board, points are the number one thing. We got to score more than the other guys, so let's keep those opportunities for ourselves.
And I know as the trigger man, you always kind of put it on yourself to put yourself in the best position as well as the unit to succeed and finish those drives with points. But what do you think? Everybody's always asking, what can Josh do better? I want to flip that and say, what other aspects of this team do you feel can help you the most that you don't directly control? Like, how can you be helped the most to push this offense forward another step?
I think just making sure that the communication with myself, with Dorsey, with Coach McDermott is on the same page. And I'm not saying it ever wasn't. But making sure that I know exactly what Dorsey's calling and why he's calling that. I have to be an extension of him when I'm on the football field. If he's calling a check down throw or understanding the situation is what I have to do when he's calling certain plays. So making sure that I'm meeting with him more and talking over these certain things of, all right, Josh, in this situation I'm calling this in hopes that we get this, and if not, be a football player and react. So I think that's number one. And number 2, just, again, guys coming together. We talk about those 3 W's: want, work, win, and we're going to continue to keep working hard.
Yeah. So you got this year's a little bit different all the way around because this is a team that, despite going 13-3 in the regular season, everybody kind of forgetting about you. Were way under the radar this year, as we were last year. You were like the front runner and everybody's favorite. Give us an idea about it's a better place to be, I think, here this year than it was last year, where you're got a target on your back. How do the guys, how are they reacting to the fact that through no fault of their own, and in fact, having maybe a better team this year than they did last year, being thought less of?
Yeah, as a team, we don't really care about the outside talk and all those distractions. Again, we're here to continue to get better and continue to try to win football games. And even last year, it's hard to ignore all the noise, you know, and it's going to happen. We've got X. I see that's an X now. Old Twitter.
Yeah.
And every time you scroll, something pops up, and it's all this algorithm, and it wants you to see what it wants you to see, right? And sometimes it's going to pop up, and you're going to see it. But at the end of the day, we're so internally driven, and even last year we had the hunt, not hunted mentality, and that's what we got to continue to have.
We appreciate the time as always, Josh. We know you're a busy guy. Are you giving Coach McDermott a little extra on the practice field, knowing he's calling the plays on the other side?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. He's always got a little quick whistle right now too, and with no pads on. And these D linemen are going real hard. It's like it's third and 5. These are tough downs, and they're throwing some exotic stuff at us. But let's call a game. Let's go first and second down and see what's up.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate the time as always. We'll let you run. Good luck this season. All right. Stay healthy.